Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Sondering Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. This is your pick a card, a timeless pick a card for Yule, also known as Christmas. As you can see, we have 4 piles for you to choose from. So from left to right, we have pile 1 to pile 4. Please select whichever one you are drawn to. Maybe you are drawn to multiple piles. So if you are not drawn to the card backings, please note each token on the pile. Pile 1, we have a stub of a purple chime candle. Pile 2, we have this gold and silver dragon ring. Hopefully my camera is focusing on that. Pile 3, we have a healing stone. This is emerald and jasper with mica. And for pile 4, last but not least, we have a House of the Dragon Game of Thrones crown ring. I'll give you a minute to select your piles. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the pile on the far left, or you chose this purple chime stub candle. Anyway, we're going to set this off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and get into your cards. This first set of cards we've got for you is your current energy. All cards I will be pulling for all piles are the same, with the exception of the tarot deck, which is different. Since you chose pile 1, your tarot will actually be pulled from the Golden Journey, and that will be listed in the description box down below. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Your overall current energy: Sansa Stark, the Maiden; Roz, the Beauty; Rhaenys Targaryen, the Overlooked; Rhaenyra Targaryen, the Iconoclast. Okay. This is interesting. Some people might actually equate you to being the underdog, the undervalued, the underappreciated. And yet you are golden in a way. Not just iconic, but noteworthy. Okay. And yet, I don't want to outright say naivety. There's an innocence to you. Whether that is childlike wonder or the maiden, as you have with the Sansa Stark card. It seems like there's a piece of you that understands how the world works, and yet you're not broken by it. You're still able to find joy. You see the beauty in life. You understand how things work, and yet you don't let it get you down. You notice the things that others don't. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm intrigued already. But we're going to go ahead and start pulling more of your cards. Next set of cards here, this is from the Enchanted map. This is for your focus. What are you focused on, or what should you be focused on? We have Strength, Wizard of Awareness, number 44, for strength. And Sacred Pool, number 47. This is actually really beautiful. Okay. Some of you probably either focusing on self-love, self-awareness, self-evolution, self-awakening, self-confidence. I'm hearing self-confidence. So if you're not focused on that, that's actually probably your cue to start focusing on that. Okay. There's something to be said about inner strength here. I was picking up that with your overall energy, your current energy. People might actually underestimate you. They probably see weakness. They probably just see, you know, the outside shell. It goes along with that underdog energy that was kind of coming through. Some people will probably write you off. You are underestimated, and yet there is an incredible strength and power that lies within. And there's something to be said for the quiet. So if you are literally somebody who is shy, somebody who is quiet, don't let that deter you. Believe it or not, a lot of people who are quiet tend to see and feel and think more than those that speak aloud. Okay, this is interesting. For those of you that do try to speak, and maybe you're overshadowed, maybe you're overlooked, or maybe it just falls on deaf ears, keep trying to speak. Don't let that stop you. Okay. That's very interesting. It's like being in a crowded room and you're saying something and everyone else all of a sudden talks over you. No, keep trying to say something. Don't just clam up. I'm not sure who out there needs to hear that, but don't just clam up. It's part of that self-confidence. Don't be afraid to get attention. Don't be afraid to speak up. Have that self-confidence. Maybe that's why that was coming through. Okay, next set of cards is from Queen of the Moon Oracle. And this is, how do you empower yourself, or what empowers you? And they gave you a bucket of cards for your pile. So I haven't looked at these, so we're going to go ahead and hopefully I have enough room on my table here so you could see them all. Hunter Moon, Abundance. Green Corn Moon, Patience. Wolf Moon, Hunger. Snow Moon, Purity. Blue Moon, the Unexpected. Lunar God, the Masculine. Okay, and this is interesting because you had 44 right here with the Strength card, and here's 43 and 42. Sorry, they just pointed at the 43, the 42. So I had to stop. Ha! And now we have 41, Queen of the Moon, Sovereignty. 40, Long Night Moon, Darkness. 39, Beaver Moon, Creation. Here, another 44, Super Moon, Attraction. 2, New Moons, Beginnings. 1, Dark Moon, Void. And 24, Waning Crescent, Protection. Huh. Okay. Remember I said it's okay for you to be quiet? And I didn't mean that in a, well, you're not allowed to speak kind of way. But those who are very inner world usually are those that are highly awakened people, very spiritual people, those that see, hear, think, and feel more. Why? Because they're more in tune with what's around them. And here we have abundance, patience, hunger, purity. So getting to stillness, doing that inner work, actually connecting to the unseen, to actively seek it, seek your own power, seek your own knowledge, integrating your own shadow. It's that shedding of the skin that ends up affording you a new way of being. Okay. Huh. Seems to me that a fair amount of you in this pile, when you sit in stillness, you get answers. You get understanding. It's not just you doing shadow work. You actually commune, and you do attract and migrate towards those that bring you comfort, bring you security, bring you protection, whether that means your angels, your spirit guides, and yes, definitely your ancestors, but what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you gain out of it is just another bit of armor, another link in the chain. Huh. A lot of people think that maybe awakenings and spiritual evolutions are always this big loud thing. And sadly, it's not always so. Sometimes it is, but a lot of the times, it's more of a quiet aspect. Everyone has growing pains, and they're not always noticeable. And we don't always call attention to ourselves when they happen. And this feels kind of like a quiet awakening to me. So whether that's sunk in for you, or this is something that maybe is a realization for you now, that going through those cycles, whether they seem to be really loud and obvious to you or very quiet, going through those processes and moving forward is actually helpful. Not to say that that isn't for everyone. Of course, that is helpful for all who experience it and actually go through the process without interrupting it or abandoning the process. But this feels like you actually, in a deep-seated knowledge, are very much aware that this is the most beneficial thing for you. You get stronger with each layer you shed, with each link that you put in the chain. It's always the quiet ones. Alright, and our next card we're going to pull out here for you, this is from the Heal Yourself Oracle. What has been healed or what needs healing is what we're going to cover here. Temptation. Oh yes, the Devil card. Distraction. You know, the dog and pony show or the puppet show, whichever way you want to call that. The media-induced distraction. Okay. And let's face it, this is a Yule, a Christmas reading. And we all have distractions with family, with holiday stuff going on, with busy work schedule, probably even traveling. So this is where getting rid of extra distractions, unnecessary distractions. You know, don't overindulge with the food. Minimize the TV and screen time. If you have that really loud, annoying relative that drives you up the wall, always find space for yourself. Don't be tempted just to, you know, let every bad, nasty thought out of your head, whether they deserve it or not, come to pass. Go ahead and take a step back. Go back into yourself. Find your own quiet space. Be grounded. That seems to be the most beneficial thing for you. And then bring me back to the Patience card, which is akin to the Temperance almost. And this portal here. Your own sacred space. Your own personal space. Finding the space to be still. Be silent. Like I said, being grounded. Especially with the distractions. Meditation, that kind of thing. Getting the time to go that next level deeper. Alrighty. I'm going to try not to keep you here all day. We're going to move on to our tarot. And this is going to be what blessings are coming in for you. We have the Queen of Cups. The Three of Wands. The Golden Journey, which is an additional card in this deck. Judgment. And the Four of Wands. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, yes. Big spiritual evolution for you. Lots of growth. Actually, probably even for those of you that are not aware of what your soul purpose is, or anything that is a part of your soul contract, or your Akashic records, this is probably what's going to show up for you. This is your blessing, finding your path, finding your journey. I find it interesting. We have a path here, and then we have a path here, and then we have a stairway here, and then we have this path up to the temple. We have all these paths showing up for you. Finding your purpose, finding your way. And it's all tied back to this lovely Queen of Cups. So whether you are an empath or have other psychic gifts, your spirituality, this is going to help you tap into soul purpose. What your chosen path is for this lifetime. On the flip side, I will say some of you will be accessing Akashic records. So you're going to see purpose throughout multiple lifetimes or one specific one in the past. That's actually really nice. That's a good discovery. Alright, and then our last card here we have for you is our outcome or our challenge. So let's see what you got. We have authenticity. Now this is great. Hopefully you can see that she actually takes off a mask. As much as she's got the headband with the feathers, she takes off a mask. She's showing herself, her real self. That as an outcome is fantastic. You see your soul purpose being revealed, just like she reveals her face on the card. We're being authentic. We're being honest. We're learning not only how the world works, but how everything not in the 3D world works. How things truly are. How we are. I mentioned before when we did your current energy that you're somebody who sees, hears, and feels things that others do not. There's an awareness there of knowing how the world truly works and yet still being in awe of it. So this is a fantastic outcome. Now, this is also the challenge. Sorry, but this is a double-edged sword for you. Simply because if we get too distracted, if we don't find space for ourselves, it's really hard to live authentically. Instead, we're living the distracted, dumbed down, sheeple life that this world is often designed for us to be and remain. It's hard to live under our own power, our own capability, and having co-creation ability when we are not being true to self, when we are not being authentic. Okay, so it's time to get real. I hope you guys are ready for it. And they're pointing out the 44. Yes, be grounded, be stable. And then you will be successful. The 4 of Wands. Yeah, they're just pointing out 4s for me now. Alright, my lovelies. I hope that helped you. And if it does resonate, by all means, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, no worries. After all, I hope to catch you the next time we do a reading instead. And if you do want to know about the decks, they are listed in the description boxes down below. Anyway, my lovelies, thank you so much for being here. Bye. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to your pile. This is pile 2. You selected this lovely silver and gold dragon head ring. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this off to the side. I'm going to start looking at your cards. All the decks I'm using are listed in the description box down below. All the cards for each pile are the same with the exception of the tarot we'll be using. And for your pile, that is the Magical Dogs Tarot. Now, these are for your current energy. We have you Grit, the Freeborn, Yara Greyjoy, the Reaver, Walda Bolton, the Wit, and Emma Targaryen, the Martyr. Okay. This is interesting. Sacrificing, yet rebel? Huh. And that's funny. I get the sense of charming. We have the Wit here, but when it comes to humor, personality, I just get charming. Okay, we're gonna jump into more of your cards. Next, we have the Enchanted map. This is your focus, or what you need to focus on. And we have Balancing Act. Okay, and that does make sense, because we do have opposites showing up. You're somebody who lives on their own terms and yet goes after what they want, but is very sacrificing at the same time. And it's a little hard to juggle everything that's going on. And just like this card, because you have the ship on a bubble, and there's this fine line it's on, it's really hard to walk that fine line without falling off, without going overboard, without feeling that the ground's just going to suddenly rise up to meet you, that you're in free fall. Oh, and they're pointing out the number 11. You might be seeing 1111 or even 111 a lot lately. That might be an indicator to you that you need to, you know, pay attention to what you're doing. I assume that's probably a positive sign for you, that you are balancing correctly. You're focusing in the right area. And let's face it, when we're unsteady on our feet and we're having to really balance, it takes a lot of focus not to fall, not to get out of alignment, not to lose our footing. Okay. But you're somebody who's very much willing to put energy where you so desire. you have the fortitude, you have the gumption to just go out and do it if it's something that you really want. So, not surprised that that might be how this card came about. You're capable. Alrighty. I'm going to move on to your next card. How to empower yourself, or what empowers you. This is from Queen of the Moon. We have waxing crescent, nourishment. Yeah, all the good things. A lot of you are probably very much on the go, and eating healthy, yes, doesn't empower you. Food is fuel. And what you put on the inside of your body is equal to what you get out of it. So when you eat crap, you feel like crap, you get nothing done. It drains you down. So whether that means you are very much eating good nutritious food at regular intervals to make sure that you are not overeating or undereating, you're doing what you need to feed the vessel that you are in and get the proper energy out of it, or this is what you actually need to do to get more energy. So if you feel like you're in a little bit of a slump, maybe that's why your balancing act is a little meh at times. If you feel a little sluggish in the humdrum, make sure that good nutritious food and taking care of your body isn't one of the things you're sacrificing. Because let's face it, in the aspect of reaching one's goal, a lot of us will make sacrifices. And we do those willingly. But this is one where you don't do that. It will come back to bite you. Whether that means you end up getting sick, you end up gaining weight, you end up with heartburn, indigestion, you sleep like crap, whatever. This is one area they're going to highlight for you of take extra caution. Take care of yourself better. Use good food. Food is fuel. Food is energy. It's not just sustenance. Cleansing. I'm hearing cleansing. Yes, it is cleansing. Not only for the body, but also for things like your chakras. So if you have issues with your chakras, remember each food has a different color, and the colors are usually the same as the chakra color. So if you're having issues in a certain area with that balancing act, if you feel like you're misaligned a little bit, pay attention to what foods you're eating. All right. We're going to move right on to our next card here. This is from the Heal Yourself Oracle. So what has healed, or what are you currently healing? Phoenix Rising. Yeah, see, there's that go-getter energy I was picking up on before. You got what it takes. You know what you want, and it's like you've got the eyes on the prize. So even if you've been down and out for a bit, whether that's the sluggish body issues, the eating habits, you always have the power to overcome. I'm hearing reinvent. That makes sense. Very much so. You grit the freeborn. Freebird. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Very funny, very funny. Sorry, my ancestors have a sense of humor too. You got the phoenix, and then you have freeborn, and Freebird. Okay. Interesting enough. I have to take a closer look at this card for just a sec. Oh, okay. Maybe one of the few things you're sacrificing or have sacrificed in the recent past is actually people. I don't know if you can see it. There's two shadowy faces right here on this card. So maybe one other way of reinventing yourself is who's around you, who's in your inner circle, who actually gets to really know you, be a part of your life, be intimate with you. And for those of you that maybe have previous lovers, you've sacrificed that relationship. The Phoenix Rising is you bouncing back. Doesn't matter if you are opting for a new relationship or not. This is just you being you. You being comfortable in yourself. You reinventing yourself. Taking care of yourself in the aftermath. Okay. That's interesting. Alright. And here we have the Magical Dogs Tarot. This is your blessing. The Two of Fire. Okay. I gotta explain this one because a lot of people are going to be like, what? What do you mean Two of Fire? How is that a blessing? Because it's a wait card. It's a delay card. As you can see on this card, it's a dog facing two pathways. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? And it's funny because I just mentioned a breakup and you finding yourself, you taking care of yourself, you know, not jumping into the new relationship. We get a wait card. Everything happens for a reason. But, no, sometimes it's best to take a time out. Sometimes it's best to pause. You know, stop and smell the roses. Take it all in. Or what does Effie say in Hunger Games? Take it all in, children. Savoring. Yes, sometimes you have to savor the moment. It's not just about food. Literally being present in the moment. Enjoying where you are. Enjoying who you actually are. Or if you don't enjoy who you are, learning to make yourself who you want to be so you can enjoy that. And yes, there's going to be that awkward in-between phase, the balancing act that we see here on the table. Multifaceted. That's kind of how I see you, as a multifaceted person. Wait and see. Okay. Being granted space, but wait and see. Sometimes the work that you do in the waiting, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything, but yet it's the most important thing, especially when you rise. All those quiet little moments when you're working on things, you're focusing on things, but you're taking care of yourself. It seems like a whole lot of waiting for an outcome, for things to change, for things to shift. And yet, so much does change. Wait and see. A lot happens in that space, the waiting. Nothing seems to be coming together, and yet it's all falling into place, and it's usually later when you figure that out, when you see that. And all you can do is be present in the meantime. But the waiting is also a blessing on its own. because it's a creation process. Phoenix rising, creation. Okay, I'm definitely curious on what they gave you for your outcome or challenge. Because I must say, this is a very interesting pile. We have faith, power, awakening, gifts, guardian, peace. Yeah, remember the waiting. More things happen in that space that are waiting. The waiting is a gift. Creativity, calm, joy, and friendship. Oh. Sorry, I'm going to scooch these up just a little bit because I want to look at these all together. Very much so. Okay. I see this more as a challenge for you. Because when we're going through a crucible, when we are rising, when we are reinventing and remaking ourselves, the waiting is always the hardest part. And yet in that space is where all the work is done. But that's where the doubts and the fear and everything comes in. It's harder to keep your faith when you're doing the co-creation, when everything is being intermixed and created, being fired into becoming. But that in itself is a gift. The process is a gift. The space of the waiting. And it's going to be really hard to protect yourself, remain balanced, to remain peaceful, grounded, centered. To stay in that flow of co-creation. To be in that moment, to enjoy it, and to realize the connections that you're making, and even the ones you're severing, and how that is actually beneficial to you. And sometimes we really need to remember we are our own best friend in that space. Because at the end of the day, it's just you and that's it. It's one of those me, myself, and I situations. So you have to like who you are. You have to like what you see. That's why we keep coming back to this Phoenix Rising card. Reinventing yourself. Who do you wish to be? Who do you need to be? Who do you want to be? And how do you get there? We're waiting on the decisions of reinvention. We're recreating. We're waiting for things to solidify. Well, I will say though, as much gumption and fortitude as we have in this pile, that go-getter attitude, there's enough drive here to sustain, to accomplish all this. So whether you've started or whether you're in the process, don't give up. Definitely don't give up. You keep putting one foot slowly in front of the other. Balancing act. Even when you're afraid you're gonna fall, even when it's hard to walk, when you're walking that fine line of moving forward or just quitting. Even when you stop and you think about it, do I go forward or do I go back? Remember what you're willing to to sacrifice to get that version of you that you wanted, that you needed. You are becoming, and that takes time. It's a process. Yes, it is. But if you're willing to sacrifice the uncomfortableness that you probably feel right now, that pressure, the uncertainty, if you're willing to put up with it and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you'll get that new version. You'll get that reinvention. You'll get that co-creation going and steamrolling enough that you won't have to be waiting anymore. Remember, waiting is the hardest part. And at the end of the day, all you have is you. So you better like you. You better need you. You better love you. And that's the whole reason why this is important. Alright, my lovelies, I hope this resonated for you. And if it does, by all means, give me a thumbs up. All the decks I've used are in the description box down below. And if this does not resonate for you, I am so sorry. I will hopefully catch you on the next one. And I hope to see you later. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading. The token you chose at the beginning of the reading was this healing stone. And for those of you that are wondering what it is emerald, jasper, and mica. As I stated before, we're going to set this off to the side and get some cards out here for you. All the cards I am using are the same for every pile with the exception of your tarot. And for your pile, that is the Unfolding Path Tarot. If you're curious about what decks I am using, they are in the description box down below. And we're going to start off with your current energy. Arya Stark, the fighter. And Lysa Arryn, the hermit. Ooh, a little bit of an inner rebel. But also someone who's not unfamiliar with an inner struggle. It's not just an inner rebel. Okay, we're gonna go deeper because that's very intriguing, to say the least. Okay, we're going to use the Enchanted map. This is your focus, your current focus, or what you need to focus on. We have home, rock bottom, and follow the leader. Yeah, somebody who's not unfamiliar with struggle, inner struggle. I'm hearing the words ends meet. Okay, so for some of you, this is literally rock bottom in a financial sense. We're worried about paying the bills. We're looking on a way out with that. How do we get food on the table? How do we pay the bills? How do we get the necessities? It's holiday time. How do we afford to go do this or go do that? How do we get the kids presents? For some of us, this is very much just us being centered around home matters and getting things done. And because we're not unassociated with inner turmoil, some of us actually may be rock bottom in the sense of depression right about now. we might be feeling that. And in which case, home matters, interactions with family, getting things done like cleaning the house are a struggle, very much so. Even when we attempt to do things, sometimes we may feel like it's leading us around rather than us getting things done of our own volition. We might feel like it's that uphill battle. Okay, so some of us are looking for the energy, looking for the ambition to get things done. All right. Well, that was a lot to unpack already. And hopefully most of you are all right. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a counselor. I can offer guidance. I can offer the energy that is in the cards and what they tell me. However, I am not a licensed doctor. I will tell you that as well. So if for your pile, if you are in need, please seek professional help. Now we're going to use the Queen of the Moon Oracle on how to empower yourself or what empowers you. Resilience. Beautiful. It's the winning gibless. And the winning gibless one, because there's more than one. Self-reflection. Yeah, you're not somebody who is shying away from inner struggle, inner turmoil. You're very much aware of that. The power to overcome. Resiliency. And at first I wanted to say inner rebel, but we went deeper than that. And part of that actually might be one of the reasons why you're so resilient, is you're rebellious enough of when things really do hit rock bottom, you're like, no, they're not. This can't be it. It's not the end. Nope. You refuse to accept that. And that's actually empowering you. Because when you meet across things like that, you bounce back. You don't want to see the rock bottom. Okay. And they haven't pointed out any numbers, but now they are. They're pointing out the 2117. And it's not like I'm getting one and then the other. It's like both of them. 2117. I will probably have to try and remember to look that up as an angel number. If it was coming in one then the other, I would say it's dates, the 17th through the 21st, or the 17th or the 21st, but I keep getting 2117. So please look that up in your own time. I will after I finish the reading. Now we're going to use the Heal Yourself Oracle. What have you healed or what needs healing? Have faith, number 22. Yeah. Having faith, it'll all work out. It's part of that resilience to keep on going. Having that inner fighter, that little rebellious streak is what comes in handy. Because sometimes what you have faith in is nothing but yourself. Alrighty. And faith might actually be rather difficult for some of you right now. Alright, I want to see what else is here for you. We're going to get into your blessing, because this is probably going to be good. We have the Nine of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Ace of Wands. Yeah, resiliency. You have that fortitude. The power to overcome. The inner strength. And all the struggles. You always pick yourself back up. You always bounce back. The power to overcome. And that inner strength actually gives you the answers to keep on going, to keep on climbing. It's that resilience. You just have to remember it. So for those of you that are really struggling right about now, this is fabulous. Because really when you look deep down inside, you're going to find that inner strength. In case you misplaced it, you lost it, you forgot about it. Self-reflection, yeah. Going within. The Hermit, yeah. Sitting with the issue. Looking within. Down through all the BS, through all the garbage, all the distractions, all the hoopla, everyone else's problems, etc. Shutting it all out. Once you really dig deep, that power to overcome, that inner strength, is what surfaces every time and time again. That's actually really beautiful. That's a good energy. And let's face it, I'm just as stubborn to do the same thing, the power to overcome. Alright, we're going to get into your outcome or challenge. We have dance, death and rebirth, discipline, and doorway. I'm going to move these down, I think. Yeah, this is very much a challenge for you. How to enjoy yourself and come back alive when you feel that something is amiss and you may be dying a little. There's that struggle. There's that need for change. And to control how you view the energy, how you operate in the energy until you come out the other side. Till everything is actually overcome. I will say there is something to be said for sheer stubbornness. Resiliency is fantastic, and I have that too, so I'm totally right there with you. But at the same time, learning to move with the energy, to use it to the utmost enough to make it easier, to flow with it, to be vibrant in it, to raise the vibration and even express joy, love, to enjoy the process even, isn't always easy. And that takes a certain amount of control. Okay. So maybe that's why I had Inner Rebel earlier and then it switched. We're going from Inner Rebel to somebody who has met with tribulations enough that our resilience has now built upon itself repeatedly enough that we're now gaining that control. We've got a new level of operating trying to come in. And just so you know, that's actually kind of a little bit of a superpower. Resiliency, transformation, transmutation. So to have that control, oh yes. To be able to pivot and move and overcome and do that in a fluid manner, that is most definitely a superpower. So I hope this is going to play out very well for you. And if it does, by all means, give me a big thumbs up, especially if you resonated with the reading. If not, I am so sorry. Hopefully I will catch you on the next one. I will list all the decks in the description box down below if you are interested. Anyway, my lovelies, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you later. Bye. Hello my lovelies, and welcome to pile 4, which was the pile on the far right, or the pile that had this a lovely Game of Thrones House of the Dragon crown ring as a token. We're going to set that off to the side, and we're going to get into your cards. All the cards are the same for every pile for decks you use except for the tarot. The tarot we'll be using for your pile is the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. And if you're curious about any of the decks, they're listed in the description box down below. Alright, your current energy. We have Olenna Tyrell, the Mastermind. Interesting. Osha, the Wilds. And Alyssa Karstark, the Reconciler. Okay. I just get whirlwind. So either you're somebody who thinks very rapidly, or somebody who is able to move with the changing of the wind. And you reconcile differences very quickly. So you're processing, you're very analytical, you're very logical. Your ability to deal with chaos and pivot tends to be fairly rapid. And they're actually pointing out the tapestry because this is the Starry Night tapestry. So they're pointing out the whirls of light and wind on this tapestry. All the swirls of color, whirlwind. All right. That's an interesting and new added thing to the reading. Haven't had that happen to any of the piles, so I guess you're unique in that aspect. We're going to move on to the Enchanted map. This is your focus, or what you need to focus on. Protecting treasure. Wide open. Spark. Magic stream. Solitude, and Magic Prayer. Okay, I'm hearing Soul Source, the sounds of it. It's what you are trying to tap into, to reinvigorate, to maintain the flow of. To make sure that you have a connection to. Soul Source. So either your soul is seeking source, and I've heard it wrong, or soul source. They literally mean soul source, which each soul is created and has what we call a soul source. something that is attributed or got birthed into existence of all creation when your soul was literally birthed by former Mother, Father, God. Okay. So we're either seeking this or we're trying to keep the zeal, the flow, and connection to that. Which, if you are very logical minded, if your soul source does not have to deal with that, sometimes it's really hard to maintain spiritual attributes and abilities if we are too much in the ego mind. Simply because that is in the higher self, which is not tied to the ego. And the logical mind is very much an ego mindset. At the same time, you could literally be seeking source. Being ego-minded, it does get a little difficult and is not easy for us to learn to receive energy from source, connect to source, to commune with source, with the ego mind in the way. Especially if we are even regular things like distracted. That's literally all it takes. We're distracted. We're not open to receive. We're not keeping the channel clear, even if we have established a channel directly to source. And I'm just pointing out the number 42. That might actually be important for you in any way that means. So seeking source, or trying to find your soul source, whichever way that resonates for you. We're going to keep on going. We're going to go to the Queen of the Moon Oracle. So how to empower yourself, or what empowers you? Flower moon, blossoming. Okay, so growth, nurturing yourself, even awakening. They're pointing out 33 to me. Okay. Aha, very funny. Okay, 42 is 6 when reduced. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay. Apparently we're going to play the numbers game with your pile. And the flower moon is actually a particular season. It is a full moon. So, because I keep staring at the full moon, they're drawing me to it. The full moon actually might be very beneficial to you. A time to either reflect, go within, to channel. This might be the most active time for you when you're seeking. Also, pay attention to things like your dreams at that particular time of the month, regardless of what day it falls on. If you have to journal, journal. Whatever, write it down, whatever. Start a dream journal if you have to. Clues might actually come in through your dreams. Huh. Okay. Nurturing and propping yourself up. So as much focus as you give to all the changes, everything that needs to be done, keeping tabs on everything, and what you actively focus on, remember to also prop yourself up, take care of yourself, nurture yourself. Make sure you give yourself time. Not just to the work, not just to the family, not just to everything else, the distractions, the noise. But remember to give time to self. to do this. Okay. I'm going to switch over to the Heal Yourself Oracle. So what's in need of healing, or what has healed? We have pride. Okay. Pride is very much an ego mind thing. It's always good to have pride in ourselves, pride in our work, but being too prideful is what feeds the ego mind. And the ego mind is usually something that we try to overcome, something to kill, something to try to lessen our engagement with, simply because when it comes to spiritual growth and our own soul journey, the ego mind is what keeps us stuck. It's what stops us. It's the little voice in the back of our head that tells us we can't, that we're not worth it, or is so inflamed, like the case of pride or vanity, that we're like an overinflated balloon and it takes very little before it pops. So be careful that your ego mind doesn't run wild. It's good to be wild and free, but when it's the ego mind driving the vehicle, we have an issue with that. The higher self should be the one in the front seat. The ego mind should be in the back seat, as much as possible. Things open up to us. We get the connection to source. We get an easier time with our soul source, with our soul path, and an easier time on our soul journey when our higher self is in the driver's seat. Anytime our ego mind is always in the driver's seat, it becomes extremely difficult. Okay, so that's definitely something to beware. We're rooted in the logical mind, and that's good for pivoting, working in the 3D worlds that we live in. But when it comes to the spiritual stuff, the ego mind does not nurture us. That's where the higher self comes into play. And if the higher self can't establish that connection all the way, your guides, your ancestors, your angels, remember what I said about dreams? Pay attention to your dreams, particularly around the full moon, or any trips on your instincts, or any signs for the full moon. And remember, the full moon on the calendar is actually 3 days. The middle day, the second day, is what's marked on the calendar. So there's always the day before and the day after. So anytime around those days, pay attention. Okay, we're going to get into your blessings. This is the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. We have the Three of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords in the reverse, the Hierophant, the Queen of Swords in the reverse, and the Six of Swords in the, or the Six of Pentacles in the reverse, excuse me. Blessings. Huh. And it's funny because I'm talking about being open, finding your soul source, but also finding a connection to source. And your blessing is basically engineering a way to find a path that you haven't found to that, to religious, to beliefs, to source, to hierarchy, to a new way of being and establishing traditions that make you seamless. And this is something that you don't currently have. are unsure of, very much lacking ego mind that's out of balance. Huh. It's funny, I'm hearing yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. As much as I did not expect us to have a Wizard of Oz moment, especially in this reading for any of the piles, let alone yours, that's interesting. But that's Three of Pentacles. We're building the yellow brick road. We're forging the path. If it's not automatic and the ego mind's driving the bus, if it's in the driver's seat, you literally have to forge the pathway. You have to cultivate and create it yourself. In other words, you have to get rid of the ego mind. You have to throw it in the back seat. Yellow brick road. You have to build the road to source, to your ancestors, to where you need to go. And that's great. That's your blessing coming in. You're starting to get it. You're starting to realize it. And you're figuring out how that's done. It's one thing to be a Queen of Pentacles, because that means anything in existence that you're given, you just take what's available and you make do. But a King of Pentacles goes one step further. King of Pentacles doesn't just take what's available. A King of Pentacles is an entrepreneur. He is those that see what is, but also what could be. It's interesting to have an idea of something, but it's another thing to create it. And when you haven't seen that before, knowingly seen that before, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to create it because you don't have an example. But being the King of Pentacles means as much as you understand the concept and the idea, what's going to surface is actually going to be new information and a way for you to do this, even though it is unfamiliar for you. Yellow brick road. This you'll probably find in solitude or in dreams. I'm probably guessing the dreams because they repeatedly brought me back to the dreams, and actually they're pointing out right here in the Knight of Swords. It's just a glimpse of clear sky, but it looks like a full moon. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yellow brick road. Creating a bridge. Maybe that's exactly what you're doing in your dreams. Yellow brick road, that's what gets built. You get a bridge through your dreams. Even if that's only the first step to something more, to something better, to something greater, it's still a step in the right direction. And it might be just the thing. It might be just the ticket to get around the ego mind, especially if our waking mind is very much an ego mind. If we are rooted in that, then the higher self definitely can connect to the subconscious mind when we are asleep to bridge the gap. That's nice. All right, and we're going to get into your outcome or challenge. Sacred space. Security. Serenity. Family. Forgiveness. And freedom. Huh. Okay. Yes and no. This is outcome and yet challenge. Because the goal is to, yes, create a sacred space, to bridge the gap, to have that connection to source, to your spirit team, to find your soul source, to be secure in that connection, to be at peace with it, but also to be a part of a whole, to realize you're part of the collective. You have a spirit team, and to be able to commune and communicate. However, your ego mind's very much in the way, and it's going to take a bit to forgive yourself for that and to understand in order to actually have that freedom, to have that connection. But once you figure out how to do it, it'll be easier to forgive yourself of, oh gosh, all right, I figured it out. I got it done. You know, I'm free. And you won't beat yourself up quite so much. You won't struggle with it. Why? Because you've already figured out how to get the ego mind out of the way. So that makes it easy for the emotional attachment that the ego mind will try to force on you to let go of that. And once you get to toggle back and forth, using the logical ego mind when it suits, but also using the higher self and putting the ego mind in the back seat, is how you're gonna whirlwind. Is how you're going to pivot more when it comes to chaos, different energies, because you're gonna be able to move and switch back and forth, toggle as needed for whatever comes up. And they're highlighting the 42 for me again. Mastermind. And that's funny, I'm hearing Master Magician. Okay. Which, let's face it, when you're able to toggle back and forth like that, to turn the ego mind off and on as necessary, you get the best of both worlds. You get the very extremely logical, but you get the highly spiritual, and you're able to blend the two. It's a type of alchemy, mastermind. Why? Because you've literally mastered your mind. You've literally hacked how to use the ego mind, your head, your conscious waking mind that's usually going to get into the way of your higher self. But you've also unlocked your mind to establish a connection with your higher self and your spirit team and source. And everything that can be gained from that. Knowledge, wisdom, advice, sacred space, freedom. You're not trapped in the ego mind anymore. Instead, you're a soul in a body that becomes free in a way because you've learned to utilize your higher self by putting the ego mind in the back seat. So my question to you is this: who's driving the bus? I really hope it's you and not the ego. Okay, my lovelies. That was definitely interesting. And hopefully it resonates with you. If it does, by all means, give me a thumbs up. And if you're curious as to what decks I use, I do have them listed in the description box down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.